Hi everyone, and welcome back to Easy Cooking with Linda B. Bob and I just had a very rough start to this video. I'm going to show you a clip of what occurred. Hi everyone, and welcome back to Easy Cooking with Linda B. Today I'm going to make for you a tomato pie. What you heard was a military jet that flew very low over our cottage. Bob and I thought we were goners. So I just want to share with you what happened. Okay, to start out, I'm going to get my crust ready. Now this is a store-bought crust. And what I want to do is pre-bake it. But I want to dock it. And the reason why I'm docking it with a fork is so that the steam will escape during the baking process and that it won't puff up. And sometimes you'll find that even when you do this and you check in your oven that it puffed up, just go ahead back in there with your fork and continue to dock the area that's puffing up. So I'm going to now place this into the oven at 400 degrees for 8 to 10 minutes, and then I'm going to take it out and let it cool. So the pie crust is now out of the oven. I did bake it for about 10 minutes. So I'm going to set it aside and let it cool. So in the meantime now, I'm going to cut up my tomatoes because what I need to do is get them on towels, salted, so that they could leach out some of the water, because last thing we want is a watery pie. So I'm going to cut this probably in about, I would say, 1/4 inch thickness, straight down like that. Okay, so for this I've used 2 1/4 tomatoes. These are large tomatoes. So now the next thing I need to do is salt these. I want to salt them generously. And this way, as you can already see, the towels are already wet, but this will definitely help to draw out more moisture. Okay, and we're going to let those sit probably for about 20 minutes. Now, the next thing I want to do is prepare my onions and garlic. I do love those two in with my tomatoes. So I have my pan heating up here, and it's going to be the way I always do my onions and garlic. So I'm going to add oil to the pan and let that get hot. And in the meantime, I also decreased the heat on my oven to 350. So while this is heating up, which it shouldn't take too long, the oil should be hot. See if we get that sizzle. In this bowl, I have half of a large onion chopped, actually kind of large chunks. I'm going to drop all my onions in here. Now, another thing I like to do is, and as most of you know, I always like to add a little bit of heat, not a lot, just a small amount like that. It brings out all the flavors, I feel. This part's optional. You don't have to add the pepper, the red pepper flakes. Now they're starting to cook. And I like to add a little bit of salt, onion powder, garlic powder. These are my go-to spices. Not a lot, just enough to give it a little bit of flavor. And this is thyme, one of my favorite spices to use. So I'm going to get this started here. So I'm going to let these cook for about 5 minutes until they become translucent. I'm going to add the garlic, and then I'll add the wine. And then when it's all done, I'll show you what it looks like. All right, so my onions are cooked. So I have them cooling in this pie plate here. So while this is cooling, I'm going to take some freshly grated, I got this from the farm. It's called Symphony Cheddar cheese. It is actually very good. I never had it before. And in this bowl, I have 3/4 cup of mayo. So what I want to do is first take some of the cheese and mix it in with my mayo. And I'm going to reserve the other cheese for layering of the tomato pie. So I'm going to add Italian season to this and also a little bit of pepper. And then just mix this together. All right, now what I want to do is with a paper towel, try to absorb more of the water from the tomatoes because I really don't want a soggy pie. It's just kind of gross. So I will work on this. And then the next thing I'm going to do is layer the tomato pie. Yeah, it looks pretty good. And one other important thing too, I want to tell you, when you make this pie and after you bake it, let it sit for at least 15 to 20 minutes before you cut into it. Because you know, tomatoes retain the heat. If you cut it too soon, all the water is going to come out. It's not going to be solid. So remember that. That's important. Let it sit. Okay. All right. Now that's done. So the first thing I want to do is I'm going to place cheese on the bottom. And then the next thing I like to do is add a layer of my onions and my garlic. Sprinkle that all over the bottom like that. Okay, get that all kind of evened out. And now what I will do is start layering my tomatoes. So place one at a time. See how huge they are? I'm not going to need many for the bottom layer. Okay, and I have also little pieces too, so I'll use them to fill in the void. Okay, and I want to season. So I am going to add a little more salt because tomatoes really can handle salt, pepper, and I'm using Italian seasoning here. Okay, and then you just do the same process over again for the next layer. Just sprinkle on your cheese and then the onions and then another layer of tomatoes, and I'll show you how to finish it off. Okay, so now I'm finished layering the tomato pie, and I'm going to end it off with some cheese. All right, and then also that mayonnaise mixture I had made, I'm going to now add that to the top of my pie. I cannot wait for this to be done so I could taste it. I haven't made this pie in so long. Okay, and then what I will do is just smooth it out along the top. It's not going to be perfect, but when it gets into the oven, the mayonnaise and the cheese is all going to melt and it'll be perfect. So what I'm going to do now is take this and put in my 350-degree oven. I'm going to check it in 25 minutes. It may need to go longer. Usually 30 minutes is max. And the pie crust itself is pre-baked. So that part won't take long at all. And I'll show you what it looks like when it's completed. So the tomato pie is now out of the oven and it came out gorgeous. But because these tomatoes are so ripe, you will still accumulate some liquid on the side. So I just take a napkin or a paper towel, just stick it in the corners where you see the liquid, and then you could pull up some of that water. I had this probably sitting on the counter now for about a half an hour, and I think it looks perfect. So now I'm going to cut into it, and then I'm going to go in for a taste test. Here is the pie, the moment I have been waiting for. So now I will cut some and I'm going to taste it and I'll let you know what I think of it. Here we go. Oh my gosh. Babe, wait till you taste this. It is so delicious. It's so flavorful. The tomatoes are sweet. The cheese gives it the right balance along with the mayonnaise. Seasoning is important. And these just came out perfect. So I hope you enjoyed watching this video of me making this beautiful tomato pie. And also, I had done a video prior to this on how to prepare your tomatoes for the winter. Check it out. I'll list the link to it in my description box below. Hope you all have a great day. And remember, enjoy life and never stop learning. Bye now.